Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who Big Finish audio drama review. In today's review I'm going to be continuing my look at Doctor Who's 60th anniversary celebrations at Big Finish in Watson Future episode 4 entitled Two's Company, as written by Lisa McMullen. This story is available to order now on the Big Finish website in both physical CD and digital download formats. It can also be purchased as part of a bundle alongside the other releases within the Once and Future series. When Once and Future was originally announced, you could also purchase a limited edition version featuring exclusive cover art, extended behind the scenes and a few other bits and bobs. This was limited to a bundle of 3,000 and you purchased all of the episodes together as one unit. This has now long sold out. Regardless of which version of Once and Future you have, the stories do indeed remain the same. So it has to be said, this is a rather unusual release. Naturally, I'm quite excited as we have Colin Baker, my favourite Doctor, as the 6th Doctor, but we have him in the company of some rather interesting characters, including Lady Christina, we have Jackie Tyler, and an older version of Harry Sullivan. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this release, I highly recommend checking out my other Once and Future reviews in order to get my detailed opinion of this series to date. So we are now on to the 4th instalment of Once and Future, and I think I'm starting to understand what this series sets out to achieve. We have seen Big Finish in the past do grand story arcs which transgress the boundaries between multiple box sets and even series. We know the writing teams can devise massive linked story arcs. Once and Future, I think, takes a much simpler approach, with each story contributing a little segment to a giant puzzle. Not a physical puzzle, but a clue which helps the Doctor on his way to solve the degeneration mystery. And being a degeneration problem, this does of course allow for many Doctors to appear without it strictly being a multi-Doctor story. For that reason, I think that this series is tailored much more to a less experienced audio drama listener. So far, this series has been very easy to follow, whilst presenting the Doctor alongside various familiar faces from multiple different eras. Especially given that some do struggle with the audio drama format, I suppose opting for a less complex arc guides the listener more directly. Despite the Doctor's struggles, it's a bit of fun. Two's Company, I think, embraces that fun, seeing the 6th Doctor meet Jackie Tyler, Lady Christina D'Souza, and Harry Sullivan, probably one of the weirdest casts to ever feature within a Big Finish audio drama, or let alone the entirety of Doctor Who history. Lisa McMullen, however, writes all three characters in a really refreshing way. Jackie Tyler in particular has a number of really nice moments, which reference her struggles now being somewhat alone, with Rose Tyler travelling with the Doctor. Camille embraces any script that she is given. It's like stepping back into 2005-2006 Doctor Who. Despite the jokes of people questioning, why is Jackie Tyler back? Camille always offers a great performance, which carries on audio incredibly well. Her relationship with the 6th Doctor is also rather funny. She's the type of character that if she existed in real life, you'd always find yourself asking, how on earth did you get into that situation? Lady Christina D'Souza is in fact a teenager throughout this story, taking place before the events of Planet of the Dead, and I think that Michelle Ryan captures that believably. Her dynamic with Jackie Tyler is lovely, and it's heartwarming seeing this friendship blossom throughout the story. The whole story is centred around a specific alien asset divided into two parts, which allows Lisa to bring in the burglary and theft aspects of Christina's personality. I also think that it's very interesting seeing Lady Christina interact with another incarnation of the Doctor. I think that she was very much her own independent character within the Planet of the Dead, and she kind of kept her distance from the 10th Doctor in a way. This time within this story, I think that Lady Christina in fact is learning from the 6th Doctor, and perhaps they are on a more even playing field. They kind of both look to each other and both respect the different skill sets that they have, which is intriguing because it's not that the 10th Doctor and Lady Christina didn't respect each other, but I think that perhaps Lady Christina looks at the 6th Doctor a little bit more in awe compared to the 10th Doctor. And of course, not to forget, we have Harry Sullivan. He's working with the Renegade on a time-bending experiment through the use of a highly dangerous alien metal. Harry is of course the additional tie-in to the classic series, and Christopher Naylor once more embodies the role well, although perhaps out of all the characters within this story, he is the most left out. Perhaps that is because Lady Christina de Souza and Jackie Tyler are incredibly bold, loud characters in their own right, and when you pair that with an incredibly vibrant and loud Doctor, it kinda means that Harry's drowned out a little bit. It's rather difficult to comment on the Renegade without revealing too much, but I hope that we do get to see more of them in the future. Due to the theatrical imposturing that goes on within this story, I don't quite think that Michael Maloney embodies the role fully until the very end. Throughout he's kind of playing a different character. In a sense, this is an origin story, which for regular listeners, I think that this aspect of the episode is rather rewarding, as it showcases the Renegade at a rather early stage in their life, before certain other events are covered within the Big Finish universe of Doctor Who. This is incredibly difficult to review without revealing too much. But equally, those less knowledgeable about Big Finish are given enough information to understand the character and the threat that they pose, but also I think it allows for enough intrigue to see the character and the various bits of potential that they have. So in a sense, this story is a little bit of an advert for that specific character. It's once more a pleasant idea and presents some of the more varied ideas that Big Finish have to offer. This is one of those episodes that I think is an enjoyable one, but don't think about it too hard. Whilst listening, it's fun, although when you start to unpick it, I do think that it's hard to reason with why all of these characters have been placed together. There is an explanation which does make sense in kind of a Doctor Who new series-y kind of way, but I can understand people's confusion when they look at a story like this from the outside and question its bizarre nature. It does perhaps once more show how Big Finish are utilising the anniversary celebrations to have an opportunity to market themselves to new audiences, which I think definitely makes sense. When from a narrative context, meanwhile, it would probably make more sense to go for more quintessential Big Finish characters, like Bernice Summerfield, Countermeasures, Lucy Miller, Livin Tulachenka, Helen Sinclair, Anya Kingdom. Characters of which that haven't appeared within the TV show, but are ultimately the characters that quite a lot of people listen to Big Finish for. And as I've already covered throughout this series, it is very much striking that balance between celebrating Big Finish and Doctor Who's 60th anniversary and the various stories that can be told, but at the same time marketing this to a wider audience. And perhaps said wider audience wouldn't be as intrigued by the likes of Countermeasures and Lucy Miller and Helen Sinclair compared to characters that they're already familiar with from new series Doctor Who. So what does this story provide? Some fun. Colin Baker brings to the role, as always, a great sense of energy. Hearing him motorbike around London, having little arguments with Jackie, and that questioning of his later selves as to how he became friends with Jackie in the first place is all a lot of fun. Likewise, when Lady Christina has lots of different stunts as they attempt to track down the metal on their own little burglary mission, it's all some light-hearted fun, which at the end of the day taken me out of the constants and normality of day-to-day life. It suspended the reality and plunged me into this world of science fiction, which I suppose is exactly what entertainment is meant to do. I suppose that anniversary arcing status of this series personally for me does heighten my expectations, but the more I look at Doctor Who these days, the more I see little pockets of bizarreness like this adventure to kind of symbolise exactly what Doctor Who is as a TV show. It started out as something that I suppose wasn't meant to be taken too seriously, and certainly as we start to see Big Finish go down more experimental routes and more gritty adventures such as the likes of the Time War, maybe sometimes Doctor Who does take itself a little bit too seriously, and we need to remind ourselves that yeah, it's someone wandering around space in a knackered police box, it's not exactly too deep. And that is exactly what this story gives, a little bit of fun with some bold characters, some interesting dynamics, and also a number of references in there as well. But once more, maybe I started listening to this series at the very beginning, heightened with expectation, expecting this big, grand series that was going to completely break the template of Doctor Who and introduce some exciting and bold new concepts, and have these big character development moments for the Doctor, when in reality, it's the Doctor going around the universe, flitting between different incarnations, and just being the Doctor, talking to his friends whilst trying to solve out his own problems at the same time, with many obstacles getting in the way. So far, Once and Future has been an enjoyable journey, but those with a taste for the more bold and varied Big Finish may expect more from it. That said, I've heard that the basically confirmed rumours of what is yet to come within this series, within one of the remaining 3 adventures. There's 2 particular characters that I'm really looking forward to hearing interact, and I think that that will, without a doubt for me, be the highlight of this series whenever that release is indeed announced. Something that I've also been thinking about recently is that I can't quite believe that the 50th anniversary was a whole 10 years ago, and naturally, as we all do, as time goes on, we age, and things get quicker and quicker and quicker, and before you know it, a year that once felt incredibly long starts to go by with the blink of an eye. And perhaps as time has gone on and the way that Doctor Who media has become more and more integrated, especially when Big Finish got the new series licence, stories that would have once been absolute sellouts and basically breaking Doctor Who news maybe aren't as special anymore. We get to see classic Doctors alongside new series monsters that we previously thought completely unimaginable. Likewise, we get to see companions teaming up with Doctors that we thought would never happen. It's almost like the limitless nature of Big Finish, obviously with some degree of reality being attached to it as well, means that Big Finish now really need to dig deep in order to create stories that maybe surprise people, and releases that would have once been reserved to anniversary status are just now regular box sets that we receive on a monthly basis. So there we go, that's that. That is Once and Future episode 4. I'm rather intrigued to see where this series goes next, but I'm also going to bear in mind my thoughts and opinions of this series so far, and limit my expectations to basically just showcasing the strengths and weaknesses of the Doctor, and more importantly, just trying to have fun with the series, because that is what Doctor Who is. It's something that we're meant to be able to suspend our beliefs and reality just to engage in a little bit of entertainment and not think about it too deeply. So thank you very much for watching this review. I hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course stay tuned on The Host Productions for regular audio drama reviews. Have a nice day. I shall see you all next time.